Hi, I'm Andrew. Today I would like to teach you how to calculate the width of a rectangle if you know the area and you know the length. So let's remember that the area is equal to, of a rectangle that is equal to the area multiplied by the width. And therefore algebraically, if I want to solve this for the width, I can simply divide out the length from both sides. Right? So in other words, in order for me to find the width, I need to know the area and I need to know the length. And I do know them. I mean, I don't know them in terms of a number, but I know them in terms of functions. So this is 4x cubed. So let's just write out what we know. Plus 10x squared plus 6x plus 15. And now it's going to be divided by 2x plus 5. And that should then equal the width. Now, I might not be able to do this division and get a number, but I can do the division and get a function. Right, so you got to look at this, and this has to kind of ring alarm bells in your mind. You're thinking, oh, long division of polynomials, or maybe I can use synthetic division here, right? And that's what we're going to do. We're going to use synthetic division. Okay, so if you want a longer explanation here of synthetic division, take a look at the channel under functions here, polynomial functions, dividing polynomial functions. All right, we're going to have probably 50 videos, if not more, just on how to do synthetic division. All right, so I'm going to run through it here. All right, let's take a look at the table. Bam. So inside the synthetic division table, I need 1, 2, 3, 4 columns because my leading coefficient is an x cubed, and I'm going to add 1 to it to find the total number of columns. Now, all I'm going to do then is put in the coefficients of each of these terms in order from decreasing x values, okay? So this is going to be a 4, that's a 10, that's going to be a 6, and that's a 15. Then what you're going to do, you're done with the numerator. Then what you're going to do is move on to the denominator. You're going to set that bad boy equal to 0, and you're going to solve this then for x. So x is going to be equal to negative 5 over 2. Now what that does is that's going to tell you negative 5 over 2 is the value that goes on the outside of your synthetic division table. If you want to use a decimal in here, feel free, but I'm going to use a fraction because I'm just going to start to simplify stuff. So simply take the first coefficient, drop it all the way down. Then what you're going to do, take this first coefficient, multiply it by that outside term. So negative 5, right, we'll write it up at the top, negative 5 over 2 multiplied by 4, right, 2 goes into 4 2 times, so negative 5 times 2 is going to be a negative 10. You're going to plug that result into the next adjacent cell. Then you're going to add these terms together, negative 10 plus a 10 is a 0. Then you repeat the process, take 0 and multiply it now by that outside term, which is a 0, plug it into the next adjacent cell, add that baby together for a total of 6. Then take 6, multiply it by the negative 5 halves, so negative 5 halves, multiplied by 6, 2 goes into 6 3 times, right? You see how quick this is? Negative 15. Plug that result into the next adjacent cell there, add this bad boy up, and that's it. Now, this represents the remainder, this represents your constant term, this represents your x term, and this represents your x squared term. It's not similar, I mean, it is kind of similar to what you had up here. This was your x cubed. Notice how it becomes x squared. This was your x squared. Notice how it becomes x. Notice there's x, that becomes constant. This was constant, that becomes a remainder, okay? Now, one thing you have to do before you kind of make your final conclusion here is you have to double check in your divisor. You have to identify the coefficient of your x term. All right, whatever it is, what you're going to do now is you're going to take that value and you're going to divide it into every term in your quotient here except the remainder. Don't divide the remainder. If you divided the remainder in this problem, it's 0, so it wouldn't have done anything. But in other problems, if this isn't 0, it's going to be wrong. You don't want to hear that noise on a test. Right? Okay. Sure. Now just do the division. Okay? 4 divided by 2 is a 2. 0 divided by 2 is a 2. What? Just kidding. Haha. Are you paying attention? And 6 divided by 2 is going to be a 3. Okay? So these now are technically your terms. Okay? Remember, this is the constant term. This is the coefficient of the x term. That's the coefficient of the x squared term. So now you can finally write out the quotient. So this should be now 2x squared plus 0x, but 0 times x is nothing, so just skip it, plus then 3. And you have no remainder. Otherwise, it would have been 0 over whatever this thing is. Right, 2x plus 5, but that's just 0, so who cares? Just you don't have to write it. So this is the answer. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the width. And that's all there is to it. What kind of a letter is that at the end, huh? Width. There you go. Are you with me? Hopefully you still are. And hey, if you are, hit the like button. Subscribe. Tell your friends. We appreciate it so very much. Thank you for all your support. See you in the next video. Take care.